Everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Here.
Commissioner Patton.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Goss.
Here.
Mayor Ranella.
Here. Okay, we have several minutes to approve tonight. The first one is the regular meeting of May 14, 2018. There is a correction in it. On page 5, on the vote for the amended CWI Republic Service Agreement, Commissioner Hightower voted no, with Patton, Webb, and Goss and Ranella all voting yea. Right. Any further additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, we will approve those. Then we had the continued meeting of May 15th. Any additions or subtractions to those? Hearing none, we will approve those. Meeting of May 29th. Any addition or subtractions to those? Hearing none, the meetings of May 29th will be approved. We had a continued meeting of May 30th. Any corrections to those? Hearing none, May 30th will be approved. And June 5th, special meeting of June the 5th. Any corrections to those? Hearing none, those will be approved. Okay, would anybody like to address the council? You?
Ed Davis, he's coming from St. Louis.
The man from St. Louis.
The man from St. Louis.
Seemed like I should know him.
Mr. Veteran on Parade. Actually, I think he is number 1 on the agenda, too, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
First, I'd like to thank the Mayor and the City Council. Hello, John. Hi, Doug. And appreciate the time to speak about something that's become tradition here in Marion and Southern Illinois is Veterans on Parade. We are beginning our 14th year. And I'll be quite frank and honest, I never thought that we'd get to this point. When we first started out with 21 units, and last year we had over 125 units. It's really grown, and my committee and I are certainly proud of that. And with that in mind, I'd like to mention my committee members who are here with me tonight. We first have Karen Robinson. She's a volunteer on our committee. Not a veteran, but a worthy volunteer. Mary Gabby next to her, and Mary again, a volunteer and worthy of that title. And then we have Wayne Cozine, who's a Army veteran, and he's been with us a number of years now, and he was responsible for bringing the band from Fort Campbell, Kentucky several years ago. So, and then we have Angela Hightower, who is on our committee, who's a member of the council, and he's an Air Force veteran, and I am a U.S. Navy Vietnam veteran, and also Wayne is a Vietnam veteran. So I want to thank the council for allowing me to speak, because this parade has really become something we're proud of, as I mentioned earlier. Each year we try to do something different to embellish upon what we did the year before. Sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's impossible, but we always try. This year we honor every year the honorary Grand Marshals of our parade are the Gold Star Mothers. And we have several that are a part of our parade and have been since our first year back in 2005. They'll be back again this year from what I understand. We have one of our committee members, Penny Bagby, is working on that. Another interesting point is we are going to, it won't be mentioned tonight, but we are going to have an honorary Grand Marshal in terms of a volunteer who does things for veterans. This individual will be coming will be mentioned at a later date as I do an article, where's Riley? There he is back there, for the Marion Star and the Southern Illinoisan. Something most important, and I wish I could give you more details about that we're working on, is a super important VIP to be a member of the parade this year. This individual doesn't live in the area, but quite well known of helping veterans. And again, when this parade was started, it was started by veterans for veterans, and for those groups or organizations who do things for veterans. Sorry to say, we don't allow politicians unless you're a veteran. We don't allow companies unless you do something for veterans. You know, it's gotten to the point where we just wanted to keep this parade as natural to veterans as possible, without getting into any politics or anything else that goes on. For instance, when we do our fundraising, which will be coming up shortly, we do it locally, between companies, individuals, and organizations, even veterans organizations that have supported us over the years. And we only raise enough money to have the parade for the following year. We never raise enough money that we're sitting there with $50,000 to $100,000 that we don't need and we'll probably never use. So we have enough money to always have our parade the following year. Some of the things that have happened is bringing veterans to Marion and Southern Illinois. People ask me, I even have my committee, we talked about it last night, you're going to be back next year? Well, let's take it 1 year at a time. I'm here this year, and that's what counts. We're doing it. It's more difficult to do it from St. Louis because I have to keep coming down here. But I have, most of them are still some of them are still working, the members, and it's difficult for them to do things when we need. That's why the two ladies I say are worthy. They get around to do some things that, and Wayne, to do things that I need to have done without my coming down here. But overall, the parade is going to be on Saturday, September the 8th. It will start at 10 o'clock. We moved to that 10 o'clock time, 3 years ago, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it's been successful for a lot of reasons, for the soccer association and other things that are going on in the area, for people to come out and be a part of the parade or near the parade and still get home to do, because the parade usually lasts anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And it's just big enough for us to handle anyway. Again, I want to thank the city for what they've always done in helping us have this parade. Today, we have not ever asked the city for money, but if we ever do, I'm sure they would be obliged to help us out. I'm working also on bringing the Navy band from Chicago. That's been like, and I'm Navy, but I thought I had an in. Not so.
Yeah.
I think if I was an admiral, it would have been easier. But we're trying to bring them down here, and they'll provide transportation, and they want so much information, and the paperwork is typical bureaucratic military. It's just unbelievable just to bring a band. So we've got some things lined up, and last year we had a flyover from a World War II Navy training plane, did a flyover. I sure would like, with Scott Air Force Base up the road here, to crank up one of them F-15s on a Saturday morning and come down and do a flyover for us. I don't think it's too much to ask, because most of them, they're always flying something down there. I mean, whenever I'm driving by 64, it drives me up, and I go shopping over there, because I'm retired, but I go over there and there's so many planes. I feel like just some Saturday morning, the heck with it, I think I'll just get in one and fly it down here. So I think that's about the only way I'm going to get it. But again, I appreciate everything the city does between the police, the fire department, because it's hard on them too, because it strains them, because they got to help us out. But again, we're looking forward to having some special people and some special things. Last I'm going to say is, on my way down here yesterday from South County, St. Louis, where I live, there was in Waterloo, Illinois, was an event going on called Military Heritage Days, their first year. I saw it in my local newspaper in South County. I said, well, I guess I'll just take the back road through Red Bud and Sparta and stop and stop there and see what it's about. I was totally surprised at what they had. They had some major vehicles, Army vehicles, all restored from Amtraks and 2.5-ton trucks, Jeeps with their 30 caliber machine guns and 50 caliber machine gun trucks on, and the guys that own them, most of them are veterans, but there's a lot of people that own them locally. They just bought it, liked it, and restored it, and they drive it. But they drive in parades and stuff like this. So I made a point to find out who's responsible for this, and I was told the mayor, Mayor Tom Smith of Waterloo, Illinois. He was the one who had the idea to have this. They also had layouts. They had reenactors up there. They had tents. They had tables with weapons from World War I, World War II, Korea War, and Vietnam. Bayonets, rifles, everything. I just couldn't believe it. From World War I saw a knife that I remember seeing in the magazine, and imprinted, it was 1918. But that way you stuck your fingers into it to fight hand-to-hand combat back in the day. You probably, John, you're not that old, but I was in that. Oh, he was in that one, okay. But again, I have to tell you, I was blown away. I met the mayor. As a matter of fact, everybody was I was passing my card out all over the place. I said, you see the mayor, I got to see this guy before I head down to Marion. And I was running out of time because I had a 6 o'clock meeting with my committee. And the mayor came walking up to me and he said, hey, excuse me, are you the guy from Marion? I said, yeah. He says, what do you want to know about that? I said, I want to thank you. I said, this is a sun exhibition you have here. I said, how long have you had this? I don't remember. Our first year, he said. He said, so many people turned out. And I says, I'd like to speak to the person who planned this. I'd like to get the contacts, because I told him about our parade. He said, no problem, I'll get the person, I'll give them your card, they'll give you a call, and you can go from there. So hopefully we'll have some other vehicles in the parade this year that we normally don't have. And if we can open up something on the square here, like an exhibit with some of the artifacts that they had, I think that would be a bonus for the parade as well. So anyway, again, I won't take too much time. I appreciate the time, Mayor, City Council. It's always a pleasure coming home to Marion, even though I live in St. Louis. When I see people, I go, welcome home, Ed. Even Brian Fisher today. Welcome home, Ed. Come on, Brian. But again, Marion's, after 28 years of living here and my children growing up and education here, it is like home. Again, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ed. Ed, yeah,
Thank you, sir.
you're the one that should be
Good
thanked.
man, Ed. Thank you, young man. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to address the crowd? Mr. Ball?
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you.
Thank you.
New York City.
Yeah, Boston.
Anybody else here from the media?
Let's get away.
All right. Well, thank you for this opportunity, Mayor Ranella, to speak quickly to this proposal tonight. My biggest concern is the mall situation. I wanted to say this. I think a blue ribbon panel needs to be created to study this problem and do something about it, because the mall is totally dead. And there are bonds on the mall. They're going to have to be serviced at some point. And we just can't tax our neighbors out of their money to create the revenue to satisfy those bonds. My interest, again, is to create solutions to this. I'm sure you're thinking about it, too. And I have some suggestions here as far as the future of the council, how it should be structured, and also the problems in the culture here with the drug world, and that concerns me too. So I appreciate the opportunity to communicate this, and I hope that we can all get something done here in the future with it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Sir, would you like to address the council? Sir? Nope. No? Riley?
I'm here to listen.
Okay, well, we'll get to our second agenda item. Mr. Hale, ordinance 3452, ordinance alone from Banterra to finance Panasonic.
Yeah, this is just to officially approved by ordinance, the loan bid. If you recall, a couple of meetings ago, the council approved the bid from Banterra, and this is just to officially, we're required for all debt to have an ordinance, and this is nothing more than just to officially approve it.
All right.
I'll make that motion to approve ordinance 3452.
Got a motion on the floor. Got a second by Commissioner Hightower. Hearing no further discussion, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Vanella?
Yay. We're going to table 3 to our meeting.
Yes.
Yes, number 3 is tabled.
Why?
We ain't got the bids yet.
Yeah, we're on table number 3.
We don't have the bids yet for the cars.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no. And does that include a truck of yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, he was going on vacation and we didn't get the bids back yet. So we'll do that later on this week. Okay, Commissioner? Do you have some bids for us?
Well, no, that's number 4.
Number 4.
Okay. Yeah, on May 29th, we approved the purchase of a utility truck subject to the superintendent's approval. Since then, he decided that we need to rescind that motion, and it'll be my motion to rescind the
Previous bid?
the previous bid, yes.
And we will go with the bid of,
Well, then we'll rebid this with the next one. I'll
okay,
make another motion on
Okay.
the next one.
okay,
It's my motion to rescind that bid we had.
okay, we've got a motion to rescind the previous bid. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion on the floor, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Vanella?
Yay.
And we have a new motion to make that we approve the purchase of a Ford utility truck from Watermark at $33,449.25. We had another bid come in, Absher Arnold, but they bid a 2018, and this is a 2019. So there's only a couple $100 difference in the bid, and superintendent says it's the best buy. So make my motion to approve that the Watermark bid, $33,449.25.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion second. Hearing no further discussion, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Vanella?
Yay. Chris?
Council, Mayor. The first item is a full-time employee recommendation for the hub as a replacement of a resigning full-time employee in the same department and same position. This individual is Dustin Barnett, current custodian in the maintenance department and current part-time custodian. And my recommendation is full-time position for this individual at $10 per hour, replacing Carol Porritt,
who has resigned as full-time custodian in the same department, maintenance department.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and second. Hearing no further discussion, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay.
And then same individual has an additional job classification of a lifeguard at $9.50 an hour for substitute purposes. During the process of our selection of this individual, he was already almost entirely through the lifeguarding class, so we didn't want to deprive him that opportunity to complete that. And then he's available to us as a part-time lifeguard to be maintained without overtime hours, so it would be cooperative between departments in terms of the hours that he did on an occasional basis, on a substitute basis in that department in aquatics.
All right, thank you. Have a motion, or we have a, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. No discussion. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay.
Okay. Two additional job classifications for existing employees. Lauren Favre, swim instructor at $20 an hour. Not noted there, but she's current lifeguard in the same department. And Brian Waldrop, personal trainer at $30 an hour. He just obtained his personal trainer certification, and that's in the current, he's a current fitness attendant. That's in the fitness department.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion? Second. Hearing no discussion. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay.
Okay.
Oh, Ben.
Good news here.
It is $100,000 savings over the last.
Change order number 001 in the amount of $200,490 for the Hub Building Rehab Envelope Project. This is the aluminum ductwork replacement of the existing fabric duct in the hub area. This will allow for greater distribution of air along the envelope and will be a substantive replacement for the fabric duct going forward. It also includes the powder coating of the ductwork on the interior and exterior, stainless steel construction to be able to suspend it, test and balance of said ductwork, the drawings of which have been provided to the council previously.
Is this a nighttime project, and is that included in that price?
I believe it is. Is that correct? Yes.
Okay.
It should be noted that if the council does not act on this tonight, there will be an $8,970 increase in this because of tariffs that are currently about to go into effect upon the materials, the aluminum.
From Canada?
Canada.
Did you not see the G8 summit that
G7, yeah.
that went to G7? Yeah, there was no love lost there.
Yeah.
I think that's a strategy for North Korea, though, personally.
Yeah. Okay.
This is non-insulated duct, correct?
Correct.
Will this solve that condensation problem, Ben?
This will improve the condensation problem. It is part of an issue of being more than one factor that is occurring. So taken as a holistic approach, it will be an improvement upon that, yes.
But what we're doing is not necessarily going to solve the problem. We're just hoping, basically.
We're not hoping. We know it will improve the issue. Part of it is a physical effect. If you have a certain amount of glass over a large area, it is almost impossible to be able to guarantee anyone there will be no condensate upon.
Yeah, I understand
It
that.
would be very foolish for me to tell you a guarantee that you will never see condensate on.
Yeah, I knew you couldn't do that. Someone has suggested maybe we need to brick the windows, be done with the windows.
That's above my pay grade, sir.
Pardon me?
That's above my pay grade, sir.
I mean, we're spending a lot of money to solve this condensation, and I appreciate your position on it. I'm not got any quarrel with you on it, but we just keep spending a lot of money, guys, and where do we stop it? It's my understanding, when we first started this thing, that the problem lied with this $750,000 dehumidifier, and that would help solve the problem. Then we discovered that we had to seal the envelope, and then because we couldn't control the air conditioning and the condensation unless we have an airtight building. If we seal the building up, then the new machine probably could do a much better job. And it was my suggestion at the last meeting that we wait on this, spending another $200,000 on ductwork, when we might fix it with this airtight building and the new dehumidifier. I don't see why we have to hurry to put up a ductwork when we may not need it. So,
Is that a fair question? I mean,
why would we spend it if we think this other piece that we've been told would probably have a good chance of solving some of these problems?
Well,
I would not be in favor of spending the money until we know we have to do it. If we have to do it, then we have to do it.
It's my understanding that the current ductwork is insufficient. Is that right? And the way that it protrudes air out onto the structure it's not covering the way it should, and so it would be inadequate. Is that fair to say?
The current system diffuses the air, but doesn't actually allow for directionality of the air to any particular location. It allows for conditioning of the space, but not necessarily for the direction of the glass itself. So to be able to direct that air at the glass envelope, you have to have some type of directional device, which in this case we're going to have drum louvers on the ductwork to be able to direct that air to the locations on the glass that we would like. Now, to speak to another slightly interesting issue is at some point, I'm not saying that it's today, but there will also be a point where the fabric duct will have to be replaced anyway, and that's probably a maximum of 10 years down the line if everything really goes well. Okay? One point to put out on this is this council has already seen costs for this same ductwork by other unnamed contractors that was more than 2.5 times the amount that we've gotten for this change order that has been given to the council. Part of this just being said that yes, when you go to rebid it, you're obviously going to hope to get near the $200,000 mark. The reality of the matter is that when you consider things such as bonding of the contractor, when you consider the fact that they're also going to have to do some of the same shutdown that they're going to have to do in selected areas and night work under different circumstances than having it done at the same time, there is potentially some offsetting savings there having it done at the same time as the building envelope. I also remember saying that this isn't necessarily a have-to-have, but it is a nice-to-have for the building moving forward.
So is this amount a bid amount, or is it just an engineer's amount? I'm a little confused.
That is a bid amount.
Okay.
That is an actual number that...
So that's a contractor?
Correct.
Okay.
But when did we authorize them to bid it? So I have a problem with it being a change order. I don't recall us authorizing this contractor to bid this. I know that's not your problem, but how do we make this a change order when it wasn't a bid item?
Wasn't it part of the original bid that we put out there? It was an alternate bid, and because the alternate bid came in less than what we desired, we decided to talk with the contractors that bid it and to see if we couldn't
J.L. Robinson
refine.
J.L. Robinson didn't bid this ductwork. wrong?
What'd you say, John?
J.L. Robinson didn't bid the ductwork, way I recall it.
No, that was his choice, right?
So,
Right?
yeah, he didn't bid it, so how can we have a change order by him when he hadn't bid the deal, technically?
I'll have
How can we make it a change order when he
to
didn't
defer to
bid it?
Gail. I mean, it's my understanding we awarded that contract, and this is part of that contract.
When Robinson Construction submitted their original bid, they submitted a no bid item for, this was alternate 3 and 4. There was a price for daytime work and another price for nighttime work. They received 2 different bids. One was in this amount, the other one was $561,000 for daytime, $585,000 for nighttime work. And there was such a wide spread between the 2 bids from 2 different subcontractors, 2 ventilating companies, that they were very uncomfortable submitting a bid based on the lower amount.
Right.
And part of their concern was that there was something wrong with that bid. On the other hand, the other bid was so high that they weren't confident why it was so high, if there was a misunderstanding or if there was a reluctance, to do the work on the part of that subcontractor. So as their information came in, as I understand at the last minute, they chose to just say, or to submit their bid as a no bid for those 2 items.
Right.
And then there was some discussion after the bids were opened about the ductwork and why there was a no bid item. And then once the decision was made to award to Robinson, there was also some discussion about looking further into why there was such a wide spread between the 2 bids for the ductwork, for those alternate bid items for the ductwork. So at that point, then we went back to them and asked them to look into it further. We met with the ventilating contractor that was performing other parts of the project, of the work on the building envelope work, to look at their bid again. So that's where this number is coming from. It's from their original proposal. It just wasn't included at the time their original bid was submitted.
So J.L. Robinson's, this is JL's bid then, is 200,000?
It's included in as a proposed change order to their contract.
Okay, but they're subbing out to somebody.
It is subbed out to Ren Lake Plumbing and Heating, who is doing other parts of the ventilation work on the project for them.
Gail, what's your opinion? You think we need to move forward with this, or?
Well, in terms of the technical aspects of the ductwork and the ventilation system in general, that's, I'm going to defer to Ben's opinion on that. I hear what he's saying in terms of the current ductwork doesn't direct airflow to the windows adequately because it doesn't have directional vanes. It just has holes in it, so it provides air. It just doesn't direct it. And part of the, your windows here in the front probably fog up in certain weather conditions in cold weather, and one way to help control that is to provide an airflow of treated air across the surface of the glass. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's part of the overall solution to reduce the condensation issues going on inside that room.
I guess another thought I had is if we put this off now and we decide a year or 2 from now we want to go ahead and do it, I'm sure it's going to cost more money probably, isn't it?
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict what's going to happen. Until Friday, when we received the call regarding the impact of the tariffs going into effect, we thought we're solid with the number, and we are. Through tomorrow, we were able to negotiate a lock-in on this price until tomorrow. There's no way of predicting what will happen in the future. Generally speaking, though, prices do go up.
Well, this subcontractor, is he already going to be mobilized on this project anyway?
Be. Yes.
Okay.
He will be.
We'll extend the project by 2 weeks. That's what was indicated by the contract and by J&L. And that's within the context of this project, that's very acceptable.
I got two questions for you. Number one, do change orders have to be bid?
No.
Because I didn't think so, because we had numerous change orders throughout that process there, and never once, to my knowledge, were they bid. But I guess my next question is, what's the potential recourse if we choose not to do this now, and then 5 years from now, we see things deteriorating at a level, because we didn't take action? I mean, that's why we're here in this position today, because, I guess things that weren't, let's just say things that maybe were not done in a proper manner. And 3 years later, we're having to correct that as this council. But 5 years down the road, I mean, what's the potential that could, I know you're looking into a crystal ball, but what is some of the things that could happen that could, because we don't have that, the funds drying up. Fortunately, we have monies available to fix this and fix it what we believe is going to be as right as we can get it now. Would that be a correct statement?
Fair to say, yes.
Okay.
I go back to the original premise that we thought the new machine and the airtight envelope might fix that. And where we got away from that? I say let's let that work and see if it works, and then we can always put up ductwork. If we don't need it, we've saved $200,000. If we need it, we spend it later. But
I was never under that assumption.
You don't have what, Gail?
The funds will not be on our capital fund.
Well, 200,000. 200,000 will be somewhere in the budget, but why would we spend 200,000 if we don't know we need it?
But if you look at spending the money on the HVAC project, and there's this final circumstance to say, if we put in new ductwork, why would we spend the other money and say, we could have done this, it would improve the condition?
But what if we don't need it?
Well, I believe from their studies that we do need it. Otherwise, we wouldn't put it in front of the council.
There's no guarantee that it's going to fix it.
Well, yeah, but John, in fairness to that statement right there, we know what we got right now isn't working either.
I know,
that duct work.
But we spent, well, we don't know it's the duct work, Mayor, because we first thought the machine for $750,000 but might fix the problem. And then we come up and say, well, we need another $600,000 to seal it up, and then it might fix it. And now we're saying, well, we got $1.6 million or $1.7 million in it, but now we need another $200,000. Pretty soon we got $2 million in it, and
well, we got $2 million in it.
Well, yeah, we will have.
Yeah.
And it started out, boys, at an $8 million project. Well, really 3, and then it went to 8, then at 12, and now at 15, 18. We're looking at $21 million. I say let's draw back a little bit and quit just throwing money away. I'd like to see if it works first before I do the duct work. But that's just me, and if I'm bound to the council's opinion, no matter.
Another issue on that, I mean, we frequently talk about and express our displeasure at mitigating all these issues that, that should have been corrected a long time ago. But when are we going to pursue the people responsible? I mean, we keep on expressing our displeasure, but we need to get the ball rolling on that.
I'm going to bring that up also.
I mean,
but
well, I know I know one party is willing to meet. I don't know about the others.
Yeah.
But,
and may I ask one other thing about this change? It did bother me. I wish Steve Green was here to answer it. I'm not too sure where we can approve a change order. My experience, which is limited, of course, but I thought change orders had to be related to the project, and the bid project to Robson was strictly to seal the building. It had nothing to do with air ducts. you know, it looks to me like you would have to get a bid from him or somebody on these ducts.
It wasn't the original bid package, though, was it?
Commissioner Goss, in all fairness, when we were doing this from the outset, we said that there were going to be several steps to be able to get to the overall improvement of the project. When we did the dehumidification unit, we said that there was going to have to be envelope work done as well. And there were several studies and a lot of work done by Gail to be able to make sure that he understood it so that we could be able to do that work well and properly. And since the duct work was going to occur internal to the building as opposed to external to the building, it was being bid at the same time as the envelope work because they could be done in conjuncture and during the same time frame. Now, overall, this new duct work would be more substantial, last longer than the duct socks would or the fabric duct, giving you a larger time frame or timetable on the airflow, as well as giving you better circulation in the building.
I have no question about that, Ben. I think you're absolutely correct. My problem is what I've expressed before. And I have just a question whether legally we can take this as a change order. I'm not sure we can, but that's just whatever.
Well, if the council recalls, you've approved change orders for the fire station without rebidding, the hub without rebidding. When we did the police station, change orders were done. That was part of the ongoing project. They came to the council for approval. So Steve Green's not here tonight, but he had never before challenged that we couldn't do change orders because it's part of the ongoing construction project.
I've been down to Public Building Commission. We built the admin building, did a lot of work on the courthouse. So I'm pretty familiar with change orders, Gail. So it's not that I don't know what these mean. My question is, can you have a change order that's not directly related to the first bid?
It is related to the project.
We did have it as part of the package that was put out for bid.
Well, anyhow, I've had my say. We'll just vote it and go on your way.
No, hang on here. We're going to have to go into executive session on number 10. So, in that time period, you think maybe you can send Steve a text and ask him about the legality of this, and then we're going to have a vote on number 10 when we come out of executive session, so we can just table this. Number 9's got to be tabled.
Send a pro bono text.
And then to follow up on
Gail and Ben, this ductwork was part of the original package that was built, our bid.
Yes, correct.
A month ago.
Yes, sir.
J&L Robinson decided not to bid it because of the confusion there seemed to be in the prices. So it was part of the project, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Without getting into all the details of the bidding documents and the contract documents that govern Robinson's performance of this project, there are requirements and restrictions on how a change order can come about in the contract that was executed between the city and Robinson. So, in that regard, there is the infrastructure or the procedure, protocol for receiving proposals from the contractor, in this case Robinson, and how that information has to be submitted, which is in the format that you have presented to you for your review and approval before they can go forward. So the procedure or the protocol is stipulated in the contract that you have with them.
And Gail, this $200,490, that compares to what the low bid was, $500,000 before. Is that what you said?
581.
Yeah, it was $585,000.
So it's a good price, and we're certain that it meets all specifications for that price.
Yeah. After we received the bids, and I went back to Robinson and questioned why they submitted a no bid, and they, told me what the differences were in the spread in the bids, I could better understand why they were reluctant. They didn't want to get stuck with a piece of, part of the work that would cost over $500,000.
Right.
When they maybe would submit a bid for $200,000.
Right.
Conversely, they didn't want to overcharge based on the scope of the work.
Possibly knock themselves out of being low bidder. I mean,
True.
they didn't know. I mean,
That's not quite that simple a question.
and in the putting a project together, putting a bid together like
It's not
that,
that simple a question, ask him that. That's a
Rather
different question what I asked.
probably err on the side of caution rather than anything.
Right.
No, I said if they're not in his original bid, then that's what I'm saying. But anyhow, that's my point.
Well, let me ask you, you guys are well respected in your fields. I don't think either one of you would be allowing us to take this vote tonight if you didn't think it was, if it was legal, would you?
No, as I said, the procedure for receiving a proposal for a change order is spelled out in your contract.
Right. And Ben?
Yes, sir.
The duck that's there right now, 10 years, maybe?
Maybe.
What we're putting in now?
What we're actually seeing with it now is fading and staining. Some of that staining is
Because of moisture? Okay.
There's wear.
But my question was going to, hang on, my question to him was going to be, what is the length that we can get out of this with it being powder coated and put in right?
I mean, I don't know the exact length of time, but I think you could probably say 20 years without anybody batting an eye at that kind of a comment. And I would think it would last considerably longer than that. I mean, it's pretty resilient. We've tried to put everything there to make sure that it's right, in our professional opinion.
Okay.
Well, there's something to be said for getting in and getting it fixed and getting out, because we don't want to keep revisiting this either.
Thoughts? I mean, it's...
Johnny's making some excellent points.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we continue to show our frustration, and we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every time we turn around, and we're not pursuing the individuals responsible for this in the first place.
And how do we know that...
Put up or shut up and go after the people responsible once and for all. Meanwhile, we're the ones who's paying for it. It's just not right.
You got it.
Well, I think we all agree on that, and I've stated that myself. At some point in time, let's fix the problem and then go after the cause. And maybe we're to that point once we get this bid process through. And I agree. I think we do know one of the individuals is willing to come to this table and discuss that. The other parties, I don't know. Only thing we can do is ask them, but if we don't ask them, then we don't know. So
I think it's imperative that we start that process.
Yeah. We can do it simultaneously. We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
And
all right.
I think that would be a step in the right direction. There is a resolution. We just need to find out what it is.
Right. I guess we got some updates.
Steve Green said, no, we don't have to put that out. It is absolutely allowed.
That's to the answer, the question you asked him, Gail, and if
No, I just talked to him on the phone.
Okay, I understand.
And rephrased it so with what you said.
We understand that change orders don't have to be bid as a rule of thumb. I understand that. But I think this is a little bit different than the rule of thumb.
He said if it was I explained the circumstances, he said that doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
It was in their contract originally.
And
It was in the contract until they added it.
Hang on here now.
It's okay.
No, here's something that needs to be understood. He looks over the agenda every Friday
Yeah, we talked about
and gives a legal opinion about move forward, don't move forward. I mean, number 9, we're not moving forward with it tonight because there's discrepancies in it.
I understand that.
And,
Number 8, he looked at.
yeah,
We talked about it.
yes, number 8 he looked at. Gail and I both had questions. Could we sell this piece of property to this individual? You know, this property was given to us, so could we sell it to her as for her business? And he said yes. So,
I have all the confidence in Steve Green. I think he's a man of honor.
But-
And I think I value his opinion. I'm not sure he's answering the question as I posed it, but that's okay, no problem.
and you believe, in your professional opinions, that this is an integral part, you know, nothing is absolute. We all understand that. There could have been a number of things that, with this type of building, go wrong. But you believe this is an integral part in, you know, in curing the woes of this building now and letting it move forward for considerable years, you know, without further plight of us spending considerable amounts of money on it. I mean, because that's the problem we got up here is, you know, 3 years in, you know, we're spending $2 million that we could have used on other capital projects elsewhere.
Absolutely.
And we hope to, you know, don't know that we will. We may not get a penny of it back. But I agree with my fellow commissioners here that if we don't try to do that, then we're not doing our job in representing the people of Marion. And we've got, you know, and we may lose. You know, we may, like I said, we may not get a penny, but until we try, we won't know. So, but, you know, getting back to my question, do you think going forward with this ductwork will help alleviate?
Yes, it will help.
Sure, it'll help.
alleviate the issues, yeah.
Okay,
It's part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, thank you. Okay, we've heard it all, so, I hope, guys, you don't know, I hope that we don't, Gail, I love you, Ben, I love you, but if you don't have to come up to this council meeting for this building and for 5-10 more years, so be it. I hope it's on another, yeah, I'm not. I'm not even going to be on life support, but anyway. What's our pleasure here?
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 001 in the amount of $200,490 to fix the ductwork at the hub.
I'll second.
Got a motion second. I think we've discussed all we can discuss.
I think we have.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower,
No.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
No,
Mayor Ranella.
Yay. Okay, gentlemen.
and could we say one more thing, following up with Angelo? When are we going to get the invitation to these probably 4 major people out? We keep talking.
Well, let's identify them right now.
Well, that was SI Piping, Bay Singer Architect, Ross Construction, and probably SFA. And we keep talking it, but we never get them contacted. We need to have some sort of somebody designated to get it done. We've been talking now for months, well, years.
Yeah.
And all we do is talk. If we're going to try to recover some of this money, which obviously there are problems, we all know, well, I won't speculate on the problem, but there's problems.
Yep.
And if we're going to try to recover it, we can't wait 6 more years or 2 more years one time we got it.
Oh, I mean, you know, I think Steve told us we was under time constraints right now.
Yeah, we really are, but we all say we're going to do it, but we don't get anybody together. Who's going to do that?
Okay, I will. Tomorrow, Gail and I will get a hold of Steve, and we will start the process of getting these 4 parties. If anybody thinks of anything else, Doug, you was in on it. If you can think of anybody else, I think these are the main parties, and
I think we also need to look at the HVAC designer
which is,
Yes.
That's Bay Singer.
Mark.
Markham approved it, he's the engineer that approved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
But he was,
There's, and see, that's, you know, in Steve's defense and whoever else's defense, I think that's been part of the issue. Number one, we have to identify the problem, which Gail has helped us with, and Mr. Boyd has helped us with. But we have to identify the problem, then we have to identify the parties. And it's not get the bullhorns on and charge forward. This has to be handled very delicately because it's a very sensitive matter, and we need to make all the right moves. We can't afford to make a wrong move because that will could jeopardize what we might want to do and where we want to go, where we want to take it.
Okay. Markham was the engineer of record who approved the alternate for the dehumidifier?
yeah, Bay Singer sent it to Markham for his approval, and then Markham came back and said it is equal to providing certain things are done.
Yes, and in the specs.
Yeah, in specs.
It provided for an alternate bid.
Yeah.
Under those. Under that criteria, and he approved it.
So he approved it to be bid as equal.
The one and only they built.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate if you do that, it'll make me sleep better tonight, Mayor. If you get this deal going tomorrow.
Don't make Salmonex anymore, do they?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. Number 9, we have to table. Number 10, we need to go into executive session. Before we do that,
we're going to do 8.
Number 8.
8. Oh, yeah, thank you. I looked right past that. 8, Gail, would you address the council on that?
As many of you might have looked down the street here on Main Street, their Perfectly Posh Boutique is constructing an older building, and they're totally, I think they've been putting in the windows lately. The owner of Perfectly Posh has asked the city if they would be willing to sell the lot that is, it's actually address-wise, it's on College Street. It's 306 West College, but it's right behind the store. It was formerly a Banterra Bank parking lot. Banterra gave it to the city, and we have maintained it. I think the street department maintains it by picking up trash cans and putting limestone down periodically. The city has no, it's actually surplus property. But when the mayor and I consulted with our city attorney, one of the requests of this owner was it is part of a TIF project. She would use it for expansion, storage of her items that she brings in to sell, and also parking. And for economic development reasons, our attorney said that the council could approve this without going out for bid because it was part of a project and would definitely enhance downtown. So the request for, she has, for $5,000 is what her offer was to buy that lot.
Where's this located at exactly, Gail?
It is
Second block, third block.
third.
Third block down on the corner.
Between Liberty and...
It's a straight, it's a very narrow lot, and...
Used to be a little church there. And the
VFW was there at one time.
Okay. Where is it in relation to the building she's working on?
It's right behind it.
Adjacent.
To the south of it.
South of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see no reason not to sell it to her. I'd make the motion to sell it for $5,000.
And you know, here again, these are the type of people you want in your town. They're taking these old buildings that have sat dormant and useless for years and bringing life back to them.
That's right, downtown.
And I think,
How big is the lot, Gail? Do you know offhand?
It's not real big.
I don't know if I put it in with the...
Maybe.
We have the deed. We could actually look it up, but...
I don't even think I don't think it's as big as City Hall for some reason. It's not overly large, but anyway. Did I hear a motion from you?
Yeah, I made a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Goss.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Webb. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay. Okay, before we go into executive session on number 10, Commissioner Hightower, do you have anything for us? You had no?
11,900 square feet. According to we've got the county.
How big is the tax map?
Yeah, no.
11,940.
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Except it belongs to the city, so we don't have a tax value.
So it's about a quarter acre then.
Commissioner Patton, did you have anything for us?
No.
Have a police activity report for May. We had 9 ordinance violations, 22 warrant arrests, 418 incidents reported, 82 traffic accidents, and 13 DUIs. So we're getting after the DUIs. So appreciate the good work the police department's doing.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Hightower, do you have anything for us?
I was going to say, myself and Mayor Renella, we attended the back to school, or actually the summer food program at Boynton Street Community Center. Wonderful program. It's for kids up to 18 years old that are provided a free meal in the summer. I mean, as you know, kids can go hungry during the school year, but in the summer, hunger doesn't take a vacation, so it's a nice program.
Yeah.
It's Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 2 o'clock, and by the way, you left before you got a chance to hear me sing karaoke.
No.
Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Well, I'll just say I'm not going to be on American Idol anytime soon.
No, you got a mic here. Give us a little
DJ, hit it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, I gotta concur with them. That's had pretty good turnout. Police was there, fire department was there. Had a mascot from the miners and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Gotta say, I'm really excited about our new chairperson, Lisa Wilson, at the Boynton Street Community Center. You're absolutely right. She's hit the ground running, and I think she's going to do great things down there. And what do we do, 70 kids a day, 70, 80 kids a day down there?
Yes, please.
So, and here's the one issue that I was talking to Stephanie and Margaret about. They think they can do more, and it's a transportation issue. So it's something we need to think about. I know we use transportation at the hub, rides mass transit, so we may want to look at that. It may be too late for the summer, but if we can, that's one of my soft spots in my heart, is making sure that our kids don't go hungry. I mean, they're like the elderly. They're vulnerable, and it's our responsibility to take care of those that can't take care of themselves. So that is a great program down there, and we know they're getting at least one good meal a day. Okay, Commissioner, you want to pay some bills?
Make a motion, we pay the bills when money comes available.
Second.
Got a motion second to pay the monthly bills as funds become available. Hearing no further discussion, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay.
Make a motion, pay the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Got a motion second. Hearing no discussion, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay.
And in the matter of agenda, does the commissioner have the right to request an agenda item be put on?
Yeah.
Or not?
Well, I would think you do, so.
I do or don't?
Well, I guess you do.
I've requested a couple to be put on, and they never make it. I was asking you, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to go into executive session to discuss number 10.
Make that motion.
Is that personnel or legal?
It's legal.
Legal? Got a motion and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Renella?
Yay. And for the media, we will be taking a vote on this matter when we come out.
Anthony, who made that motion?
Angelo.